What is the difference between double equal to and triple equal to?
Double equal to is used to compare two data types.
Used to compare.
Yeah, and three, like triple equal to is for exact comparison, like for the exact values.
Including types.
Including type. Double equal to is used for checking whether the values are equal or not, whereas triple equal to is used for checking both the values as well as its data types. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What is spread operator?
Spread operator is used for different memory allocation for
No,
the array.
it's just used for spreading the array values. That's it. Okay. But when you use a square brace with a spread operator, it will allocate a new memory space.
Yes.
Okay. Which method is used to convert a string to uppercase?
Is to uppercase.
To uppercase. Which method is used for converting a string to lowercase?
To lowercase.
To lowercase. What is shallow copy?
Shallow copy is used to copy the. If we take A and B, there are same address. If we are changing the numbers, showing same address.
Okay. So which variables will store by address? Which type of variables will store by address?
Arrays.
Array and object. Okay. You need to tell like we have one array. If we copy that array to another array, they will be stored in the same memory space. If we change any element in one of the array, it will reflect in both of them. This is known as shallow copy. In order to reduce this, okay, in order to overcome this, we use spread operator, which will create a new memory space. Spread operator with square brace. Okay. If we have nested if statements, is it a good way of writing code?
No, Anusha.
No.
What we should use?
Switch.
Does, so how will you write the cases in switch? According to the values of expression passed to the switch. Am I correct? Does the cases
Yes.
contain break statement or not?
Yes, it contains.
Yes.
Suppose if it doesn't match any of the case, then what we should do? If you want to print something in the console,
We can write a default statement for the same.
yeah, we need to write a default statement which will be printed in the console. Okay. Which method is used for pushing the element in an array at the end?
Push.
Which
End of the element.
Yeah, which method is used to push the element at starting?
Unshift.
Unshift.
Which method is used for removing the elements at the end of the array?
Pop.
Which method is used to remove the elements at starting of the array? Shift method. Very good. Now, today we will talk about some more, okay? Some more concepts. How will you write a function in JavaScript? How will you write a function?
We have to give function keyword and name of the function.
Function keyword and name of the function. Okay. And some square braces and some curly braces. and it will execute some piece of code. Am I correct?
Yes, Anusha.
Yes.
Yes. What is the return type of this function?
Hello in function.
Hello is hello in
Return type of this function. I didn't ask what is the output of this function. I asked what is the return type of this function.
Return function.
function dot print detail.
What is the return type? Vishal, can you try?
String.
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 Does this function is containing any keyword called return?
No, Anusha.
No.
Then what will be the return type?
Undefined.
Undefined or void. Nothing it's returning. Okay. Suppose
Yeah.
you want to specify the types, in TypeScript, what you will do, you will just specify the colon and you will give it as void because
Yeah.
return, nothing is returned from this function. What it is doing, it is just doing console log. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what is the return type of this function?
String, Anusha.
String. Okay, return type is string. What your type I mentioned, right? What is returned from this function? What is returned from this function?
Anusha.
That's Anusha.
What is returned means the value which is getting returned from this function. Okay. What is the return
Yes.
type means the type of the value that
Type.
is being returned. Okay. Now, what is the return type here?
Number.
Number.
What is returned from this function?
5.
5.
Now, I have one variable A. Okay. Now tell me how to invoke this function.
Function name and braces.
Function and the brace. This is used for invoking the function. Now, if I do console.log of A, now what will be printed? Sorry. What is this? I am invoking the function. So whenever we invoke the function, what will happen? This function code will get execute. Okay. Whenever it encountered return keyword, the function will end. Am I correct? So it is receiving some value. From this, we are receiving some value and we are assigning it to a variable. Am I correct? Now what I am doing? I am doing console.log of a. Now what will be printed? Print details is the
Hello
name
is
of the function. Yeah. Yeah, Janji. What is being returned from this
Hello.
function?
Anusha.
Now what will be saved in the variable?
The returned value.
Returned from this function will get saved in A. Okay.
In the, yeah.
Console log is just used for printing something in the console. That's it. It's nowhere related to returning or anything like that. This is just for our understanding. We will write console logs in our functions. Okay. Now, if I just run it, you can see Anusha is being returned. Am I correct? Suppose, now what will be returned? Now, if I do console.log of A, what will be printed?
Void will return. There is no return.
Undefined will be printed. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Since nothing is written. Now, what will be stored in A? Now, what will be printed?
5.
5 will be printed. Okay. Any doubts, anyone? Whatever is returned from this function will be saved to these variables and we can use it. Okay. Suppose if I don't invoke it. Okay. And if I just give the name. Okay. Now what will be printed?
Print details.
the exact function will be printed. Okay, print details. The exact function will be copied and you can invoke this A and you will get the result. Any doubt? So this A, what we have done, this function we have assigned to A. A also act as a print details function. Whenever we invoke this function, whatever output is there, that will be returned. Any doubt?
No, Anusha.
No.
Now, what is this known as? This way of writing some piece of code, what is this known as? I said 2 keywords.
TypeScript.
No. Function. What is this known as? Function.
Declaration.
Yeah, function declaration or function.
Statement.
These are known as function declaration or function statement. Okay. Any doubt? Just define the function is called function declaration or the function statement. Okay. What are anonymous functions?
Functions without name.
Function without name are called anonymous function. For example, function and it doesn't contain any name and it's just doing like this. Is it valid to have a function without name?
No.
No. So when these anonymous functions are useful?
When it was assigned to a variable.
Correct. Very good. Okay. When we are assigning to variables, okay, these are useful. Now, how to invoke this A function? Like how to invoke this anonymous function? If I want to print this console log in the output, okay, I need to invoke this function. Am I correct? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes,
How to invoke this function?
by writing the function name which is A here and braces
Very good.
and braces.
Whenever you are assigning anything to a variable, this becomes the function name and you can just invoke it. This purely now acts as a function. Okay. You can see anonymous function is printed. Now, what is the difference between these two functions?
So, Anusha, in the second case, it is assigned to a variable, which makes it an anonymous function.
Okay.
And
I said
in
one
the first,
difference. Yeah, Vishal.
okay, I think I am saying something else then.
Yeah. Just try. You are telling something. Just try.
Yeah, and in the first one, it is like normal function, how we define in JavaScript, like function and
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I said about execution context, right? Can you
Yes, Anusha.
that to this? Anyone, any try? Teja, can you want to try?
Can you repeat the question, ma'am?
Yeah. What is the difference between these two functions? So this way of taking the function and assigning to variable is known as function expressions. Okay. So if anybody asks you what is function expression means, assigning function to one variable is known as function expression. So in interviews, they will ask, like some reputed companies like Swiggy, Zomato, they will ask these questions. Previously, they used to ask, what is the difference between function declaration and function expression? What is the difference between them? Okay. I have told you this, still I am repeating. Suppose whenever execution context is there, what will happen? Even before a single line of code got executed, an execution context will be created. Am I correct?
Yes.
So what will happen in this execution context?
Memory and content of
Allocation, like,
Code of execution. Two phases will be there. Am I correct?
yes.
Yes.
This painter is not good. Will contain two phases, correct? Memory phase and code of execution phase.
Code of execution.
And whenever we declare, okay, a variables or functions, what will happen in this memory execution phase?
in this memory phase, it is showing undefined before
That
execution.
is for, it shows undefined for what? So
Variable.
whenever, yeah, variables, whenever we create any execution context, there will be two phases, okay? Memory phase and code of execution phase. Even before one line of JavaScript code has been executed, it will list what are all the variables and functions in that particular file, okay? What are the variables in this file?
Undefined.
What are the variables in this file? What are the variable names?
A.
A. So it will allocate memory space for A, and what value will get assigned to it?
Undefined.
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 Now, what are the function here? What are the function here?
Anonymous function.
No, there is only one function here, okay? You shouldn't consider this as a functions because nothing piece of code got executed, right? It will just consider the functions or the arrow functions directly, which are declared like this, okay? The variables which are visible and the functions which are visible. Now, what are the functions here?
Function print detail.
Print details
Print
is one
details.
function. Am I correct? So what will happen? It will take print details. Okay. It will take the name. And for the name, what it will store? The entire function it will store. What is happening? Flower braces open, console log, and exact function it will say. Okay. Now, if we are calling print details, so now we are in code of execution phase. Okay. Now we are in code of execution phase. Okay, it will execute the first line. At first line, what is happening? What is happening at the line number 1?
Print details.
Function invocation.
We are invoking the function, which means that there will be another execution context created, right? And imagine that execution context has created and it printed as the console log statement. Okay. Now what happened after what is there at line number 5? 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 Just open your mouths and talk. What is there at line number 5? These are numbers.
It is also
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
function invocation.
What is happening at line number 5? What is there at line number 5?
It's blank there.
Nothing is there, right?
Yeah,
Is there at line number 6?
function invocation.
We are invoking this function. Okay, now
Yeah.
does it give an error or it will invoke this function?
I think Anusha, it will give an error because
Yeah,
it is still not
because
allocated.
yeah, it's a variable considered here, and what you are doing undefined of function, which is wrong. That is the difference between a normal function and the function expression. Okay. So normal function, even without declaring the function, you can just call it. But whereas for the function expression, since you are assigning some function to a variable, if you do the function invocation before, since it's a variable, it will give us the error stating that A is not a function. So at line number 6, it will consider still as a variable. At line number 8 only, when this piece of code got executed, then only we will come to know that A has become a function. That's why if you are doing a function invocation at line number 12, right, it won't give you any error. If you are doing the function invocation anywhere before line number 8, it will give you an error. Okay, why? Because it's a variable. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes, Anusha.
They will ask you what is the difference between a function declaration and the function expression means. Function declaration, you can call the function invocation directly. Function expression means you are assigning one function to a variable, and even before you have written the function expression, if you are trying to call that function, it will give us error stating that A is not a function. That is the difference. Any doubt?
No, Anusha.
Jansi,
No.
are you able to understand?
Yeah, Anusha. Yes, Anusha.
Okay. Kavya? Yes. Okay. Okay. Now we have one more term called named function expression. Okay. Named function expression means assigning a function which has name is known as named function expression. Any doubt? Assigning one
No.
function which has a name is known as named function expression. What is function expression? Assigning anonymous function to a variable is known as function expression.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have some functions called callback function. Okay. For example, you have function A, B, C. Okay. And in this, you are receiving something. Okay. And what you are doing, you are just doing console.log of received some params. Okay. Now, while invoking this function, okay, you need to pass this argument or not. So what is this function is expecting? It is receiving some params, right?
Yes.
Yes, Anusha.
What are these called as? What is the A here called as? Function params, okay.
Okay.
Whatever we pass here are called
Params.
function arguments, okay. Whatever we pass are called function arguments. Whatever received are called function params. Any doubt? These are called arguments and these are called parameters. Now, if I don't pass anything while invoking this function, what is the default value of this A? Suppose if you try to access console.log A, what will be printed?
Undefined.
Undefined. Why this A is treated as a variable, right? Whenever you are doing invocation, function invocation, what will happen? A new execution context will be created. And again, there will be two phases, memory phase and code of execution phase. So whatever variables were present in this function will be stored, will be allocated memory. Here, what are the variables? A is one variable. Am I correct? So A will be assigned with value undefined. Does this function contain any other function?
No, Anusha.
Okay, now suppose if you are passing one function as an argument to another function, okay, what happened? For example, let me check. Let B equal to a function. What does it do? It will just return some console.log of. Okay, you can even pass a function as an argument to another function. Okay, so the function which is passed as an argument is known as callback function. Meaning is that this B will be received by this ABC function, and whenever we want this function to execute, suppose if this function contains 1000 lines of code, after 1000 lines of code, if you want to invoke this function, you can invoke it. Am I correct? How to invoke this function? How to so A is here,
Function name A.
A and the braces. Am I correct? So if I
Yes.
invoke this function, what will be printed? This console log will be printed. Am I correct? So this is the function which is passed as an argument to another function. So this function which was passed is known as callback function. Okay, you can pass one function to another function. You can even return one function from another function. Okay, this is possible only in JavaScript. Okay, what you can do, you can just return one function out of a function. Now tell me, what is the return type of this function ABC? What is the return type?
Function.
Function. What is being returned here? This function. Am I correct? So what I'm trying to tell, you can assign some functions to variables. You can pass even some functions to another function. You can even return a function from a function. Any doubt or is it clear? Any doubt?
Can you repeat that again, ma'am?
Yeah, please. I did not get it.
Okay. What I'm trying to tell, okay, you can assign a function to any variables. Am I correct?
Yes, Anusha.
Yes.
Yeah. You can even pass this function as an argument to another function. Okay. For example, function ABC. Okay. And it's receiving some param. Okay. That param name is A. Okay. Now what you are trying to do, you are trying to print that A. Okay. Now what I am trying to tell you, how to invoke this function using the function name. Am I correct? ABC. And here it is expecting some parameter. Am I correct? So
Yes,
that
Anusha.
param, it can be even a function. You can pass a function even as an argument to another function. Okay. and callback function. Okay. Now what happened, you see? So I am invoking this function and I am sending this function argument. Now what I am trying to do, whenever I am invoking this function will execute. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, Anuja.
And what it will print whatever param it's received. Am I correct?
Yes.
Now
Yes.
I will just run it. Are you able to see? It showed a function with A. Let me share it in Visual Studio. 1 second, I will stop sharing because my company's code will be visible. Okay, 1 minute. Now I'll share my screen. Simple one. Are you able to understand now? So what I'm trying to tell, so this function is passed as an argument and this param, whatever I have received, that I am printing. And you can see this, right? It's a function with one console log. I am callback function and A. Any doubt? What I'm trying to tell, we can pass the function even as an argument to another function. Another function here is, what is that function? ABC is the another function. And this function we are passing as an argument to this function. Okay. The function which is passed as an argument, this function is called as callback function. Okay. The function which is receiving this callback function is known as higher order function. Any doubt, or shall I explain it once more? Understood? Understood, or shall I repeat it once more?
Yes, Anuja.
Shall I repeat?
Somewhat like.
Yeah, I
Can
know
you
it will be
give any
weird.
example? Is there any example for that?
No, that's okay.
This
Like
is
somewhat.
the example, right? This is the example I am giving, right? The function which is passed as an or passed. Okay. What I told. For example, now if I am passing like this, what will be printed in the console here? Tell me. What is this function? Explain me this statement actually from 175 to 177. What is happening? Open your mouth.
For function ABC, we have param say.
Okay, param A. And what we are doing here? What we are doing here, what is this? We are just console logging the param, right?
Yes.
What is
Yeah,
the statement?
the param
What is this statement?
invoking
Invoking
function.
a function. What I am passing here? What I am passing here?
Number 5.
Number 5 is passed, which means that this 5 value will be assigned to A. Okay. And if you are
Okay.
doing console.log of A, which means that what will be printed now?
5 will be printed.
5 will be printed. Okay. Suppose if you pass Anusha. Now what will be printed?
Anusha will be
Anusha.
printed.
Anusha will be printed. Okay. Now I will receive one more param B. Okay. Now if I do console.log of B, now what will be printed? How many parameters are there for this function?
2.
Params. What are they?
A and B.
A
A, B.
and B.
Did I pass any value for B here?
No.
Now
No.
printed. If I don't pass, what is the default value assigned for this?
Undefined.
Undefined.
Okay. Undefined will be printed. Okay. Suppose if I pass like this. Okay. Now what is the value of B?
5.
5. Okay.
5.
Now what is the value of C?
Undefined.
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 Now what will be the value of C?
True.
True.
Okay. Okay. Now what I am doing, instead of passing a value like this, what I am doing, I am passing one function. Now what it will print? Now what this line will print?
Callback function.
Callback function.
This function. Okay. You are understanding, right? Here what you are doing,
Yes.
you are assigning one function to one variable. Am I correct? Even the same thing
Yes.
you are doing here. You are passing one function which will be assigned to this variable A. That's it.
Very.
Okay.
Yes.
Now what I'm trying to tell, the function which is passed as an argument. These are what are these called as arguments, right? Am I correct? This function
Yes.
Yes.
true are called function arguments. This A, B, C are called function parameters. Okay. The
Parameters.
function which is passed as an argument to another function. Here ABC is a one function, right? Okay. This function is passed as an argument to another function. So this function is known as what function?
Argument.
Function is known as,
Callback function.
this function is known as callback function. Okay. The function which receives this callback function is called as higher order function. Now ABC is called as what function?
High order function.
Higher order function.
Now are you people able to understand?
Yes, Anusha.
Yes.
Yes.
So why we are passing this function as an argument and why it is termed as callback, you know, this can be invoked whenever you want. Calling back means I can call it whenever I want, right? I can just invoke it, right? Calling means invoking. Okay. So that's why it is known as call after some time. That means callback function. Understood? Understood the meaning of callback function?
Yes.
Yes.
What is callback function?
Whenever the argument calling a function is called callback function.
The function which is passed as an argument to another function is known as callback function. What is higher order function?
Function which is received another function is called.
Very good. Function which receives the callback function is called as an higher order function. Any doubt till now?
No, ma'am.
Now let me make you familiar with some pieces of code. Okay. Now if I do console.log of s, what will be printed? It's very simple code.
5,3.
5,3 will be printed. Huh? Vishal, can you try?
Yes, Anusha, I'm on it. Just thinking what it should print.
Or anyone can tell me how this code will execute?
Eight.
Yeah, it will print 8. Okay. How can you tell me?
Printer return value.
We have to return the value a plus.
Okay. Imagine the file is starting from here. Whenever it sees this function keyword, which means that it will not be executed. It will come to line number 174 and it will check let s equal to what you are doing. You are invoking the function and you are passing two arguments, which are 5,3. Now what will happen? This function will invoke. This function will start executing. It will receive a value as 5 and b value as 3. Okay. And it will try to do 5 plus 3. Okay. Which is 8. And the 8 value will be stored in s. Now what you are doing, you are printing just the value of s. So that's why in the console log, what will be printed?
8.
8 will be.
8.
Okay. Now tell me what will be printed.
8 will be printed.
8 will be printed.
8 plus C.
8 plus
Undefined. Undefined.
undefined will be printed, or the nan. Okay. What is the meaning is that nan means not a number. Okay. What you are doing, how will this statement will start executing from left to right or right to left?
Left to right.
Left.
Left to right.
Now what will happen? What is the value of a?
5.
5 plus what is the value of b?
3.
3.
Or what is the total value?
8.
8.
8. What you are doing again? Plus. What is the value of c?
Undefined.
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 So number you are trying to add with some undefined, which gives you not a number error. Not an error. It will give you nan. It's not a number. Any doubt?
No, no, ma'am.
Now what will be printed?
8 Anusha.
8 Anusha will be printed. Okay. And now what will be printed?
15.
15 will
15.
be printed. Okay. You are able to understand this, right?
Yes, Anusha.
Yes, ma'am.
And suppose we have one string. Okay. For example, let str equal to one string. And this string is containing spaces before and some spaces after. Okay. And if you want to remove the spaces from the starting and end, okay, we have one function called trim, okay, which is used for removing the spaces before and after. Okay, we have this function called trim. It will remove the white spaces before and the after. Okay, now what it will print?
Anusha.
Anusha. will
Anusha.
be printed. Okay. It will remove. Okay. Now what it will print?
Anusha.
Anusha.
Anusha
Anu.
space Shah, or what will be printed? Direct Anusha word will be printed.
I think direct Anusha.
No. What I said, trim is used
Anu.
to remove the spaces before and after. Okay. What is before? Till here is the before. After means till here. So it will print Anu spaces and the Shah. Okay. Any doubt? Now
No,
what
Anusha.
will be printed?
Anu space yes space A.
Correct. Anu space, yes space, A. Okay. So this function, trim function is used for this kind of purpose. Removing the space before and after. Okay. Now, we have one object. Okay. Const A equal to, we have one array. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And what I am doing, I am assigning one more array. Okay. And what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to print the value of A. Now what will be printed?
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 will be printed.
1, 2.
What is the type of this variable?
Const 1, 2, 3, 4 is printed. It is printer reference error.
Yeah, it will print a reference error. Do you remember the const variable? Shall we do a reassignment for const variable?
No, Anusha. It can only be assigned once.
Now what we will get?
You will get an error.
Yeah,
Error.
we get an error. Okay, uncaught reference error assignment to a constant variable. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to change the first element. Okay, with 5 maybe. Now, what will be printed?
5,
Reference
2, 3,
error.
4.
5, 2, 3, 4. Very good. This is because you are not reassigning. Indeed, you are
Yeah.
changing the internal values. Okay. The rule of the const is that reassignment should not happen, but internal things can change. This will happen in case of only arrays and objects. Since they are non-primitive data types, we can change them internally. Correct. If you want to change a primitive value, what you need to do? No other go, only the reassign. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, Anusha.
Yes, yes.
Okay, very good. Now, let me, okay. Slice, I'll tell you. Okay. I will execute one simple for loop. Okay. let I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, okay. Now, can someone tell me how many times this loop will execute? How many times the loop will execute?
4, Anusha.
4 times.
4 times?
5
or 5
times. 5 times. 5 times.
What will be the I value in that 5 times?
0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Now, I'll write one condition. Okay. If I equal to 3. Now, how many times this loop will execute?
Only 1 time.
Once.
Why 1?
I is equal to 3. Break statement.
So you mean to say in the first iteration itself, these if statement will evaluate to true and it will break out of the loop? In the first iteration, what is the value of I?
0.
0. Okay. Now then what will happen? 0 will be printed. Then what will happen?
Then I think it will again go to the loop
Correct. Then
before break.
correct.
Then it will go for
Statement
+1
without,
and
yeah. 0 equal to 3. Is it true or false?
False.
so
False.
So this block will not execute. Am I correct? Now what will happen?
yes,
I value will again increment to 1. Okay. 1
1.
will be printed. Then whether this will be evaluated to true or not.
Hmm.
False.
Now tell me how many times this loop will run.
3 times.
3 times.
4
What
times.
are
4
the-
times. 4 times. 4 times.
Ha. 4 times it will execute. Whenever the value of I is 3, we will break out of this. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
Anusha.
Now I'll tell you one more thing. Okay. A dot, for each, right? So in this, it will contain each element. Okay. Now, if element now how many times this will execute? This for each?
1 time.
1 time. One time? Any other guess?
2 times.
Why 2 times? Why 1 time? Any other guesses? Anyone? You cannot use a break statement inside map, for each, and filter, which are inbuilt methods given by the JavaScript. Okay. Even if you use a break statement, this loop will not break. It will keep on executing. Okay. That is the difference between a traditional for loop and the loops provided by the JavaScript inbuilt loopings. Any
Okay,
doubt?
Anusha. No, Anusha.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And now tell me, what is function declaration or the function statement?
Right, defining the function and its name,
Okay, okay. What is
and
function
yeah,
expression?
assigning the function to a variable.
What is named function expression? What is named function expression?
Assigning a function with name.
To one variable is known as named function expression. What is a callback function?
A function is calling to another function is
Function
called
to
callback.
Function which is passed as an argument to another function is known as callback function. What is the
Callback.
higher order function?
A function whenever
Receiving
receiving another function is called the return.
Okay. What is the difference between a function declaration and the function expression?
So in terms of function declaration, it can be like called before
Okay.
the function statement, but in case of expression, it will become undefined if it is called before
Okay.
the
Will
function
it
statement.
give a error or not?
Yes, the function expression is going to give the error.
Yeah. Okay. And which function is used for removing the spaces in the string before and after?
Trim.
Trim.
Which function is used to split an string into an array? Which function is used to convert a string to an array?
Split.
Split function. Very good. Which are the looping functions available in the JavaScript? Looping. When we will use the term looping, for what kind of variables? Looping.
For map and filter.
Map, filter, and for each.
For each.
Those are used for which data types?
String data, right?
Arrays, right?
Arrays, yeah. Sorry.
And how do you tell that it's an object?
Flower braces.
Flower
Flower
braces
braces.
and
And key
Contains
and
key
Keys
and
and value.
keys and values.
if you want to get all the key values in an object as an array, which function is used?
entry type.
It's wrong.
Object dot keys.
Object dot keys of, you need to pass the object name. Am I correct?
Object name.
If you want to get the
Yeah.
values of an object into an array format,
Object dot value.
object dot values of object you will pass.
Object.
Name. Okay. Okay, that's it for today's class. Okay. Practice this and come for tomorrow's class. Tomorrow I'll try to give some heavy dosage. Okay.
Okay, Anusha. Bye bye.
Bye everyone. Have a good night.
You too.